Hello, my name is Stephanie Everett and I'd like to welcome you back to the Suburban Chateau and day 10 of our 12 days of vintage handmade Christmas. Today, my inspiration comes from Walmart of all places, but one thing I'm seeing a trend in all of these big box stores is vintage design. I've always loved vintage postcards, especially from the holiday time, vintage wrapping paper, some of those old iconic looks. And today especially, we're gonna be seeing some of these beautiful reproductions of reindeer. And I think they're just so beautiful, but we're gonna see how we can work those into our decor in the house. One of the things I was super excited to find in my travels and looking around this holiday season were these beautiful vintage deer. We saw some glass deer. I found these awesome deer at Walmart. Some of them were standing, some of them were sitting, but they definitely had a vintage look. And then they had some matching ones that were a little bit smaller. I thought they would be so cool for on the tree as well. So I went back to Walmart and I picked up, I thought the one that was sort of sitting down, I could probably not break it as easily. And then I picked up some of these littler ornaments to go on the tree. So I'm super excited to share those with you. One of the things I showed is that I found some incredible little deer, and I found those in Walmart, believe it of all places, again, going with that vintage design. So I'm gonna try to make some of these deer work in my tree and just put them in a place that will be safe, and maybe just use the tree to kind of wrap them in there because they're kind of heavy. They're resin, but I just figure if they have just a little bit of something, I don't want to put tree around their neck, but some of them are also just a little bit different. This one's really pretty too. I think that different design. Let's see if we can't put those in. Well, I'm abundantly pleased with how these deer fit in. The little ones with the arched necks, I just kind of cradled them on a tree branch, so that really worked out. But the little ones that are setting, oh my, they're just so easy to plunk right in the tree. And I just made sure they had a branch kind of cradling so they wouldn't fall. I absolutely adore them. I think they look so perfect. They go with that whole vintage look. They're just peeking out at me from everywhere. I got 6 of them, which I think is fine. Here's the other little one. She's hiding. And honestly, they go so beautifully with that picture. It works. I didn't know if it would look too cartoony, but I think it really, really works. It's got serious deer vibes. And then you can see I also put the pillow. This is my chair, so I get the pride of place with the pillow that matches the monarch of the Glen, which goes with all the plaid, and the absolutely adorable vintage deer. And here is our little beautiful vintage look deer, and with a candle, and again set inside evergreen garland. One of the coolest things I found about vintage designs is there's definitely a trend towards remanufacturing some of the most amazing vintage designs. I regularly find paper, wrapping paper just like this with the old Santa memorabilia. I love all that artwork, and you gotta understand that I'm from a different era, and this was pretty normal when I was a kid, especially just like that cartoon caricature, but some of the old, some of the older fonts and things like that. I just absolutely adore this wrapping paper. Recently, I came across, and of course Santa's a biggie, I came across some cute little bags. These are my bags for next year. I'm ready to start out. Next year, I'm planning going on all antiquing. So I'm starting early, especially with the after Christmas sales. Then every year I find some Christmas cards that really blow me away. You can find these at Barnes & Noble, but they just have the antique postcard design. Every year I see them right there at at Barnes & Noble, and they're just like quite a variety. Love the Christmas kitties. Oh, I'll have to give that one to Sarah. But they just have, all kinds of designs, and they come in, I think like a 24-pack cards. So there are tons of vintage designs. Every year I always look forward to, there is a calendar that has the vintage designs. That I'm going to have to look back and see what that's called, but that is another one of my favorites as well. One of the things I've noticed in just the last few years is that they are making a lot of beautiful vintage signs that you can decorate your home with. And this one really reminded me of maybe a Victorian postcard that I had seen. I just absolutely love that Santa design. But I've just picked up some things along the way as I find them, and I try to take some of the other things that I have hanging in my house down for the season and use some of those vintage art pieces. I think they really fit beautifully. Sometimes they have songs. They have a picture of a musical selection. This one here was Silent Night. One of the things that our house does not have is a fireplace, so I've had to find some alternative ways to hang stockings. I'm always looking for vintage style and something that I can hang on a wall. And I found this last year, and I think it's going to fit just perfectly right here. And it just says, "The stockings were hung." And it's the perfect ones to hang. I found these last year, and it was ribbon embroidery, and I just thought they were absolutely beautiful. Let's see if we can get them all balanced. Perfect. And leveled up. And one for good measure, right in the middle. I added this hook last year so that they would be even. I want a little symmetry is very important. So here they are. So here we are looking at our final look, getting the stockings hung with care, and using those vintage signs that have the little stocking holders. For me, that really helps out since I don't have a fireplace. Beautiful. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. My very favorite Christmas song of all times. We have the little vintage deer vignette, and of course those adorable deer that we saw in the tree as well. So lots of great ideas that we can add using vintage designs this year at Christmas. Thanks so much for watching the Suburban Chateau. And our next video, we are mad for plaid. Looking forward to sharing that with you.